All right, this video is to help you with CR 28. I'm going to start at number 1. I'll get through as many as I can on this video. It says, which of the following equations has no solution? Well, what we need to do is we need to solve each of the equations given and figure out which one at the end is a false statement. So let's go ahead and work through them. So let's look at letter A. For letter A, it says x minus 8 equals negative 8. Well, if I want to solve for x, I go to the side of the equation with the x. I have to get this minus 8 moved to the other side. How do I undo subtraction? With addition. So I'll add 8 to the left. If I'm going to add 8 to the left of an equation, I have to add 8 to the right of an equation. This side I'm left with x equals negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So this equation has one solution. And that solution happens to be 0. All right, I want the one with no solution. It's not A. Let's take a look at B, and let's go ahead and solve B. 4x equals 0. What's the operation between the 4 and the x? Multiplication. How do we undo multiplication? Division. So I'll divide both sides by 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. Oh, all right, so this one has one solution. And what is that one solution? That one solution is 0. The only number that will work to make a true statement is if we plug a 0 in place of x. All right, bye-bye. Let's try C, because I want the one with no solution. 7x plus 35 equals 7 times x plus 5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 7 through this set of parentheses, and I'll have 7x plus 35 equals 7 times x is 7x, 7 times 5 is 35. If you look, you can see this side of the equation completely matches this side of the equation. So we've just created a true statement. That's always going to be true. I think I spelled statement wrong. Is there an E in there? Yeah, I have no idea. Okay, that's a true mathematical number sentence. So what we're going to do, what we would say is all real numbers or infinitely many solutions. So any number I plug in place of x is going to work. So if I plugged a 1 in place of x, 7 times 1 is 7 plus 35 is 42. Over here, 7 times 1 is 7 plus 35 is 42. Any number I plug in place of x will work for that equation. So that one's infinitely many solutions. All right, letter D must be the correct answer, but your teacher will want to see work as to why. So 8 plus 3x minus 3 is equal to negative 9 plus 3x plus 1. On the left-hand side, let's combine like terms. 8 minus 3 is 5. So on this side, we would then have 3x plus 5. I'm just putting my constants together. They're on one side. I can just combine them. 8 minus 3 is 5 equals, if I look on this side, what can I put together here? Oh, negative 9 plus 1 would be a negative 8. So on this side, you can either write negative 8 plus 3x or 3x minus 8. Negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. All right, so now let's move all our x's over here to the left. So I need to subtract 3x on the right. Oh, sorry about that. I hopped a slide. Let me go back. So I subtract 3x on the right, which means I'll need to go to the other side and subtract 3x on the left side of that equal sign. What I do to one side, I do to the other from the equal sign. By 3x, by 3x. I have 5 equals negative 8. That's a false statement. If you have $5, that's not the same as owing someone 8. So if it's a false statement, if you come up with something that will never be true, the answer is no solution. So we just came up with the one that had no solution. I hope that helps. Let's go to number 2. Lines M and N are cut by transversal L. If the measure of angle 5, so I got to go here to angle 5, is 9x plus 72, and the measure of angle 8, there's angle 8, is 4x plus 112. What is the measure of angle 5? Okay, well, if I look at these angles, these are vertical angles. Vertical angles, angles opposite each other when two lines cross, are congruent, which means they'll have equal measure. So I can take what they tell me angle 5 is and set it equal to what they tell me angle 8 is. Okay? The measure of angle 5 will equal the measure of angle 8 because they are vertical angles. Awesome sauce. So if I look here, now I have to actually solve for x. Ooh. Why did I write 9x plus 5? I have no idea. Because it's really 9x plus 72. Okay, good. Now I'm ready to solve this. I need to subtract 72 on each side to solve this for x. On this side, I'm left with 9x equals. On this side, I have 4x. 112 minus 72. 2 minus 2 is 0. 11 minus 7 is 4, I really hope. I don't have a calculator at home, so I'm kind of trying to do it in my head. But all I did was move all my constants to the right-hand side of that equal sign. Now I'm going to move all my variables to the left. So I'm going to subtract 4x on each side. 9x minus 4x, I'm left with 5x equals 40. I'll divide now to get x alone. How do I undo multiplication? Division. I'll divide both sides by 5, and x equals 40 divided by 5 is 8. So I just found x, and some students would be like, oh, yay, it's letter A. No, it's not. We have to answer the question that's asked. It says, what's the measure of angle 5? Well, the measure of angle 5 we know is given as 9x plus 72. 9x plus 72. So I'm going to substitute an 8 in place of x. That's 9 times x. So that's 9 times 8 plus 72. 9 times 8 is 72. What's 72 plus 72? Is that 144? It must be. That's 144 degrees. Now I've answered the question that was asked. So the answer is C, 144 degrees. Let's keep going. Next one, the graph of the function is shown below. For which interval of x is the function decreasing and nonlinear? Decreasing, so on the graph, the function would be going down. And nonlinear means it's not a straight line. Means it's not a straight line, it will be a curve. So now I look here and I say, okay, if I look here, where can I find the graph going down, but not a straight line? Like this one would be decreasing, but that's linear. So the only spot I see that's decreasing and nonlinear is this little section right here. Appears to be decreasing and nonlinear. It's a curve, and as we move from left to right, my pen is going down. That's decreasing, nonlinear. And they want to know what x values is that between. So if I go down here to the x-axis, I'm like, oh, appears to be between here and here. And what are those x values? It looks like that's -2 to 0. So where is it decreasing? From x is -2 to x is 0. From x is -2 and x is 0. From there to there, that's where it's decreasing. So right here, between -2 and 0, okay? Between -4 and -2, between -4 and -2, that's increasing and linear. Between 0 and 2, between 0 and 2, that's increasing but nonlinear. And between 2 and 4, from 2 to 4, it's decreasing but it's linear. So that's letter B. All right. Let's take a look at number 4. The volume of cone is 75 pi cubic feet. The radius is 5. What is the value of the height? Okay, so you need to just write down your formula for your volume over your cone. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And you did a beautiful, I think you did probably the rice in class where you realize it takes 3 cones to fill up a cylinder of the same height. So it's 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. So here, what am I given? I'm given that the volume is 75 pi, so I know that V is 75 pi. I know that the radius is 5, so I'm given that R is 5. And they want to know the height. I don't know H, so that's what I'll be solving for. But in place of V, I can substitute 75 pi. Then I have 1/3 times pi times R squared. R is 5, so 5 squared times, I don't know my height. I leave it. All right, I'm going to simplify here first. So this is 75 pi equals 1/3 times pi times 5 squared, means 5 times 5. That's 25 times your height. All right, I right now I could multiply 1/3 by 25, but I actually think that's going to make the math a little more difficult for me, so I'm just going to save that 1/3 for a minute. The whole goal is to get H by itself. I can see some things I can divide off by. How do we undo multiplication, division? I can divide off by to make my life just a little bit easier. See how there's pi on both sides? We can divide by pi. Pi divided by pi, fancy form of 1, bye-bye. Pi divided by pi, fancy form of 1, bye-bye. So then I have 75 equals 1/3 times 25 times H. Just makes my life a little easier. Again, I'm holding off on that 1/3 because I can see if I divide both sides by 25, it's going to make my life a little easier. Trying to solve for H, so I just want to undo all my multiplication. Going to undo that with division. Going to divide the right by 25, which means I divide the left by 25. 25 divided by 25, fancy form of 1, bye-bye. 75 divided by 25, this is, 75 cents is 3/4, 25 cents is 1/4. So 25 goes into 75 3 times, equals 1/3 times H. Oh, now I finally have to handle my 1/3. To get H by itself, I need to divide both sides by 1/3. So off to the side, I know I have to do 3 divided by 1/3. First fraction, or number stays the same. Change your division to multiplication and flip over that second fraction. So that's 3/1 or just 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So your height is 9 feet. Okay, height is 9 feet. I just want to make sure you understand why 3 divided by 1/3 is 9. That means how many thirds fit into 3. So if I draw out 3 whole circles, what this means is how many thirds will fit into there. So if I break 3 whole circles into thirds, how many thirds fit into 3 whole circles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sometimes it freaks people out when they have 3 divided by 1/3 and then they come up with a larger number 9. But it's because how many thirds fit into 3? 9 thirds will fit into 3. All right, hopefully that helps. I'll do the other problems on another video.